Hey friends, it is a beautiful, beautiful cold day in Vancouver, British Columbia. I'm just on my way into our South Surrey location, and something somebody messaged me last night on Instagram and it pissed me off, so I'm going to talk about it. So not long ago, I responded to something on Instagram where it was some salon, I don't know, business coach or something like that, was talking about moving their location and saying, is anybody else moving locations this year or next year or something in 2026? And we are potentially moving one of our locations because our landlord sucks. She's the worst. And so I just wrote yes. And I didn't quite know it was a phishing thing at that point, but that's cool. So then, a day or so later, I got a message saying, oh, that's great, you're moving. Are you a salon owner? And I just simply responded yes to the message. And I know what's going on here. It's somebody who's now starting the chain of trying to procure new customers for their salon coaching business. So I had just written yes. So then last night I get a message, and this one may be a personally written message. I believe all the other ones are automated. So this one was personally written, and it says, oh, that's so great. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions? I'd like to learn about you and your salon business. And so I responded with a fairly long, this is what I always do whenever people piss me off. And when I say piss me off, I'm talking about whenever people behave in what I consider to be not an optimal way to get what it is they would like to receive from a potential customer. Sorry, I'm very wordy. So I always try to give them a little bit of coaching advice. I'm going to coach the coach a little bit, and tell them how I think if I was in their position, I would have responded rather than with what they did. So I wrote her a message saying, look, if I'm in your shoes and I'm trying to get new customers for my coaching business, I'm not going to now send another thing that tells that potential customer I don't know anything about them, because to me that seems incredibly lazy, especially when all they have to do is click the icon and it goes to my little homepage of my Instagram where it lists some accomplishments and it lists some links to my businesses. Right? I'm like, how are you not going to take 2 seconds to do that? And the reason this is so important is because of ego. For me, I'm well past ego, but one of the things that I do, I wouldn't say I'm a business coach, but I run 2 hair schools and I teach young hairdressers how to be successful. And one of the ways I teach them to be successful is to lead an amazing life through hairdressing, doing the hair that excites them and makes them happy. And that means they have to go out and get new customers. So I talk to people a lot about making new friends, new contacts, and getting new customers out of relationships or out of potential contact with people. So I'm very dialed into this. And I'm also very sensitive to how other salon owners might feel. Now, I am not a big deal, but I'm a kind of medium deal in my city. And there's been times that I was a big deal, but I don't really care about that anymore. I don't have my name on the salon door anymore the way I used to. I used to be more of an egomaniac. So I understand the way, and I've met a lot of salon owners, and a lot of salon owners are total assholes. And assholes generally need to have their egos stroked. I am the biggest of the assholes back then, and some of you might say you still are, but back then I was. I would say today, through parenting and through some tremendous ups and downs in my business, I like to think I'm a lot more tolerable. I certainly try to come at life with a much more zen approach, and I basically just don't want drama in my life, and I want peace. So, when I'm giving this woman advice on how to stroke a salon owner's ego, I'm using myself as an example, but I want to be clear that I'm not saying this to say, here's who I am, Google me, B. But anyways, so I'm like, had you looked, I was a fairly prominent blogger for 2 or 3 or 4 years, And, I main stage lots of shows, and we've had lots of locations. And not only that, guys, my whole story is on the internet because there was a period that I never shut up. Every week I was writing a brand new blog post. I'm the easiest person in the world to research about with very little work and find out what makes me tick. I think I have like 50 short YouTube videos like this, just to figure out a little bit about me. And if this person put in 5 minutes of work, not even 5, 3 minutes of work to figure out who I was, that way she could potentially grease the wheels to a further relationship by saying, oh, of course I know who you are, Michael, even if she didn't. This is what I'm trying to say. You got to suck up. You got to stroke the ego. Oh my gosh, of course I know who you are. You have a great reputation and I've followed you for years. How's business? And then I'm going to respond with, business fucking sucks. I have never in 30 or 27 years of salon ownership seen it so slow. It's appalling right now. How's everything out your neck? She's then going to say, oh, that's what I'm hearing from so many people right now. I actually have a coaching business and strategies to help get through these times. Do you want to talk further? At that point, we're having a conversation. I'd have to be some kind of an asshole not to respond to that. That's how you grease the wheels. That's how you get in. That's how you get in the front door, right? Again, it's nothing to do with me. It's to do with everybody else out there. I use myself as an example because I'm the easiest one in the world, and you'd have to be special kinds of lazy to not take a couple of minutes to research your prospective client, to see who they are, and to stroke the ego a little bit, right? So I gave her this little lesson, and it reminds me of another lesson that I've given. I always give people lessons because all I do, like I'm going to go coach a bunch of young people today about how to get jobs. And it's no different than getting a job. I always teach my young students, never write a cover letter to whom it may concern. Always write a cover letter to who makes the hiring decisions. Never tell that business what your goals are as a potential employee of that business. Always tell that business how you will make their business better by being involved in it, right? You have to tell these people you know who they are, you understand their needs, you understand what their direction is, and you being involved in it will make their business a better place. You will enhance their lives. It's no different than advertisement. I don't know, I used to be an insomniac. I used to stay up late at night watching TV so I could help myself fall asleep, and I'd watch infomercials. Now, the fine people at the Magic Bullet, I hope it's called the Magic Bullet, or is it that other thing called the Magic Bullet? I don't know. The people at the Magic Bullet, their goals are not their goals are not, their company goals are to increase market share, but that's not what's in the advertisement. What they do in their advertisement, and the reason that I've watched these advertisements back in the day, is because they're telling me as the consumer that how by me buying this blender, it will make my life better. I can make fucking little 2-ounce baby foods. It's got all the containers. I watched the whole thing because, and wait, there's more, because it's telling me how my life can get better by including this thing in it. And that's what advertising does, right? They're not necessarily talking about what their corporate goals are. They know that their corporate goals are going to be coming from feeding your goals and meeting your needs as the consumer. They only get what they want by giving you what you want. And that's what makes the whole world go around in commerce, right? We got to start thinking, guys, like we have to start thinking like the customer, not like you trying to tell the customer what you think they want, by you thinking like a customer and saying, how would I even allow somebody into my business? If I'm the consumer and I have a little bit of an ego and I have my backup and I don't like salespeople, how am I going to break through? And you know what's kind of interesting? As I was thinking about this, I actually had a really similar experience with an acquaintance of mine who does salon coaching, who sent me the form letter. And I was just like, girl, you're writing this to me. I understand your shit's automated, but If you're taking a machine gun approach to life as opposed to a targeted approach to try to get the customer base that you're actually looking for, it's just an insult to everybody, and you're only going to be appealing to the lowest common denominator. I personally, for me, if I'm a salon coach, I'm going to try to find somebody like me who maybe has been there and who's maybe struggling and wants to get back there again. And that way I can say, I helped X salon go from this to this, right? As opposed to, this 2-chair salon. And it's not a diss to 2-chair salons. I used to own I owned 2-chair salons for like 4 years before we grew. But I think the feather in your cap is helping a business that might have a bit more reputation, right? It's more of an accomplishment. But anyway, that's as an aside. It freaks me out how many people who want to be coaches don't understand the customer relationship. And if you don't understand the customer relationship and you're trying to be a coach in the service industry, how the fuck am I going to do business with you? You don't even understand step 1. It means that your understanding of the business is academic. I wouldn't take coaching from somebody who's academic. I would only want to take coaching from somebody who's been there. I want to take some coaching from somebody who's been there, who's lost and who's fought back and who's figured it out, or somebody who's been there and never lost. For me, I've been there and I never lost for the first 20 years. But now I've lost, and I'm not going to coach you. I'll never offer any advice other than what not to do, because I'll give you plenty of advice on what not to do. But I can't give you advice on what to do until I can get my business back running the way I want it to be. But that's what I think so many of these coaches, they're either never was, or they just don't understand today's environment. I'll tell you guys, today's environment is massively different than 5 years ago. It's a different world, right? It's like Charles Manson, Columbus sailed across an ocean, but today it's a different ocean. It's a different world out there. And it's even faster. It's not even 5 years, it's 2 years. And this year, I have to say, I don't know other salon owners because I don't talk to that many of them. But I will tell you, I've never seen my salon more dead than it is today. It's literally 2.5 to 3 months of dead. Like, I'm talking my senior staff, like my top staff, will have the occasional opening, which is unheard of. And my mid-level staff that looked like they were really gaining traction are having days with like one person, right? And then they get a couple more, but there's shit to do right now. It's a crazy time. And obviously it's deeper than, at least for me. I mean, we often, when we're dead, we're like, oh my God, is that it? Is it just me? I'm hoping that other people are dead too, at least in my city, at least in Vancouver. Our Surrey location is actually doing okay, but our Vancouver location is struggling. Even from a year, our numbers are way down from where we were. It's crazy to me. I have a diverse business though, so I'm not panicking the way maybe other people might be panicking, because I have my hands in other things, so I'm all good. But times are tough out there, and I think a lot of people would want salon coaching. But you got to get a foot in the door. And you got to get a foot in the door by telling these people you understand their business, asking them questions, stroke the ego a little bit, be personal, because we're in the people business, and then talk about how maybe you can help them. But for me, I'm not even going to answer questions about my business. I'm not going to tell you about my business when all of the world has the ability to find out about my business just because I never shut up, ever. So, if you're a coach, do some damn work. Yeah? I always tell this, okay, last kind of thing. I remember years ago, we were main staging the ABA. It's the local big hair show in Canada. We were the main stage artists. And as an aside, if you ever book me to be on the main stage, your show is in deep trouble. Like deep trouble. But I'll take it. I'll get on that main stage, but yeah, it's crazy. But anyway, so we were the main stage, and this woman walks into our salon, and I can see immediately she's a sales rep. She's not there to get her hair done. She's dressed in all black, so right off the bat, we're like industry, right? she's attractive and her hair's done. So I'm like, industry. She's a sales rep, clear as day, holding a briefcase or kind of a folder thing. I'm like, yeah, sales rep. All my staff know to not tell sales reps that I'm in the house unless it's somebody that I already know, right? We don't do cold calls. And by the way, don't cold call people. Make appointments, for God's sakes. I have a crazy story about a guy who walked in to get a job last week. It was mental. Maybe I'll tell it another time. It was crazy. Homeboy sat there for like an hour without an appointment while I did hair. It was so weird. But anyway, so this lady walks in and she's looking around, and she walks up to the front desk and she's like, oh, this place is so cool. How long has it been here? And now at this point, my name is on the door, guys. Like, this is like, you know, I've got my name right on the front door. And she's looking around, oh, this is such a cool place. Is the owner here? And so I point to the person who's standing beside me as one of my managers, because I'm just deferring. And for us, it's kind of fun, right? Like, we're horsing around. It's a sales rep. We don't, you know, it's so obvious. So I deflect to him, and he knows the drill. And she goes, hey, I have ABA tickets for sale. Are you guys going to the ABA? And he's such a snide prick. I love him. We have the brochure for the ABA in a plastic case, because we're showing our clients that, hey, your hair salon is the main stage performers at a big hair show. And he doesn't say anything. He just slides it right in front of her, and doesn't say a word. And then so our name is featuring Michael Levine Salons, and she goes, oh, cool. Now, I spoke to this lady at the hair show, and I kind of gave her my little lesson. I always give these lessons, and very often they're not received well. Very often people are like, that guy's an asshole. But I'm passionate about success. And I just said to her, look, if you had done a little bit of research before you put your hand on our door pull to come in, if you had stopped yourself, stepped aside, done a quick Google, figured out who I was. I am so arrogant at that moment that I've got my name on the damn door. You better walk in here and pretend you know who we are. If you had done that, I still would have probably recognized that it was just good salesmanship to do a little bit of research about your prospect. But I would have talked to her, because I very much value people who do things right. And I really have no time for people who do things wrong. It's like if somebody calls me and I always answer the phone, this is Michael Levine, no matter what. And if it's a sales rep, 9 times out of 10, they go, hey, Mike. And I'm going to stop you right there. If I introduce myself as Michael Levine, that's what you're going to call me. And you immediately slap me in the face by being familiar. Only my sister, I don't even think my mother calls me Mike anymore. I think my sister is the only one. And anybody who knew me in high school is allowed to call me Mike. But that's it. And I always give these people these lessons, like, have respect. Think like the consumer. If I take the time to say it, you take the time to repeat it back. If I take the time to put my name on my door, go step aside and Google, who is this prick who's so arrogant enough to put his name on the damn door? And then find out, and then walk in and say, is Michael Levine here? I've always wanted to meet him. He has such an amazing reputation in this city. Even though you just learned about me 2 seconds earlier, that shows that you're in here to make moves and you're serious about what you do. That's all I got for you guys. Be serious about what you do. You got it. Yeah. Anyways, have an awesome day.